In the meantime, I do want to go to former State Department official under one President Bill Clinton, Joe Witt. He was one of those key players coordinating the last nuclear deal. Very good to have you back, my friend.
Thank you.
Maybe let us in a room like that. I know Bill Clinton didn't have the opportunity, pass on such an opportunity. Is it your sense right now that the best that can happen in a time-limited conference like this is to set sort of like a blueprint, what you want to do, goals, what you want to do, or what do you expect?
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. And don't forget, they're not sitting there negotiating a document. That's been done ahead of time for them. So what they're going to do is...
What do you think's in that document?
Oh, what's in the document? Well, I think...
That they didn't negotiate, someone did.
What's in the document is, first of all, there will be language about denuclearization. That's a given. That has to be in the document, or else it'll be a failure by anyone's standard. Secondly, there'll be things in there that North Korea wants, which is that they want to build a better relationship with the United States. Those are the key things. And then there'll be some action items that will set a process in motion to get into the details of what that means.
Could I ask you if you take me back in time? I'm told that Bill Clinton was very close to meeting with the North Korean leader at the time, Kim Jong-un's father. And yet that was at the same time we were working at the Middle East peace agreement, the Palestinians. Yasser Arafat apparently didn't want any distractions of the president. We ultimately, for whatever reason, and you can educate me here, never happened. It didn't occur. Bill Clinton later seemed to intimate he regretted that opportunity.
Right.
Tell me what happened.
Well, I think that's exactly what you're saying, that he originally really wanted to go. And the story has been that he decided instead to take on a Middle East summit. But in fact, what I've heard, and this is all secondhand, is that he went to President-elect Bush and said, I want to go to North Korea before I leave office. And President-elect Bush basically said, you can go, but don't count on me to support what you do when I become president. So I think President Clinton decided, well, probably not a wise thing to do.
You know, it's interesting, Joel. I'm not disparaging either former president, either Bush or Clinton, but they had assurances from the North Koreans that the North Koreans later ignored or just reversed. Now, in the case of the Clinton commitments, at least they took their time doing that. It was some 8 years later. In the Bush years, almost immediately. And it's fed this narrative that the Trump folks better not make it a third type of issue where you have to really hold the North Koreans hard and accountable to everything they're committing to, whatever their definition of denuclearization is, which I guess is very different from ours. But play that out.
Well, it's hard to know where to start because, first of all, when I was in the Clinton administration and I was in charge of implementing the denuclearization deal, and so what I can tell you is that in 1993-94, we expected North Korea by the end of the decade to have almost 100 nuclear weapons. So by the time we got there, they had less than material for less than 5. It fell apart, but in my book, the deal was a success. Secondly, there's no way to achieve denuclearization except step by step through phases because the relationship is so bad that we have to move slowly and carefully forward. And to do that, we need to improve the political relationship, and that has not been there before. That's a solid foundation. And that's tough. You know, no one's denying that's going to be very tough. But a political relationship has to improve along with the technical measures.
When you look at these type of events, and there's a great deal of attention paid when it's the leaders of the countries, you know, in a room talking, especially given the past history here, do you think that tonight will be a start, or this morning, if we go by the real time where they are, of something, or do we get something outlined, as Mike Pompeo was hinting at? Some have even said a cessation of hostilities between our countries after the better part of 70 years. What do you think?
I think the document will be a start. but that's it. It's going to be a start. And then you have to have a lot of work afterwards to move forward. And the danger here is that we will lose momentum, that people will go home and declare victory. But that's not going to be the case. So to maintain momentum, the president, the Secretary of State, Kim Jong-un, they have to be involved along the whole way. And if we do that, then we will have a chance of moving forward.
I can't imagine, and you were closer to this, Joel, than I'll ever be, but why the North Koreans would ever even give it up their nuclear card. It has gotten them to this. And if they get rid of it all, they don't have a card.
Well, of course, that's the big question here. Will they ever give it up? And chances are they won't, but we don't know. And I think the big question here is we need to test the proposition in a serious way. And even if we get down the road, but not all the way to the end, we need to ask ourselves, are we better off in that situation than we were 7 or 8 months ago when North Korea was moving forward with its programs and a lot of people thought we were on the brink of war? That's the key question here. So the process may be worthwhile, even if we never get to the end.